some nerds? It's your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jazz, aka DJ Alcatraz.
DJ Alcatraz. Okay, yeah, I was wondering which nickname you're gonna go with, but that was really cool.
That was the best reveal ever. That was so cool, and I was really excited to see Casey's actual alter ego. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Also,
man. Like, this was. You know what? We'll talk about it when we get into it. Go ahead and
all
introduce our
right, we'll talk
guest.
about it. But I want to introduce our guest. Jazz, why don't you introduce our guest actually?
Okay, sure. Yes. So, hey, everybody. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest, Monique. She and I met recently when I found out she was going to be the executive director of the Texas Democratic Party, and I am on the essentially what is the board of directors for it. So, yeah, it was a very interesting meeting. I didn't realize she was a super nerd like me, but then the moment I found out, we had to bring her on. So, Monique, please take it away.
Yes, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I've been on the job as the executive director of Texas Democratic Party for 10 weeks now, and it's been awesome and amazing. I was in Bexar County this morning for their primary kickoff, and it was great to meet everybody. And what I tell folks is that this is very easily one of my favorite jobs. I'm just surrounded by a bunch of folks that just want to do really incredible work and are inspired by everybody around me. And yeah, everybody's just an optimist, and it's so great. And I think it lends itself to that sort of Avenger theme. So I'm a huge MCU nerd. So
Nice,
that's how
nice.
James found out.
Oh yeah,
Well,
like her email is like Texas Avengers, or no, your donation link. The short code is Texas Avenger for it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so funny because I think it was like the day that I started, I found out that the deputy executive director is a big DC fan. And so I went to our digital director and I said, hey, do like the reference code as something Avengers related. And I was like, something about like Texas Avengers. And so he did the reference code. So when you go to you can't see, it's not obvious, but whenever I email people, if you make a donation through my link, whenever I email you, it gets attributed to Texas Avengers, which is signifying that you have donated to my link.
very cool, very cool. I
We
like
got
this
MTF in
comment.
the comments.
Assemble the money. That's what you need to do. All right. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And we can't wait to discuss this episode of Loki. And I got to say, this episode was damn good. This episode was damn good.
Mm.
And I was kind of like the first three episodes. I'm like, where are they going? I don't know what's happening. And I love this episode, but part of me feels like this could have been episode 3 and episode 2 and get us in like invested so much earlier. I did not need the whole story with Zaniac, and I didn't really need the whole story with Docs. But this was great. I was really feeling this. The way he had to kind of assemble everybody all together
Sounds
and find
familiar.
them. I know it was really good. And goddamn, Tom Hiddleston, he does such a good job in this role, especially when you just see the first scene where he just like it's only him, and you're like, oh man, what's going on? And he's walking around this like dark TVA room, and he sees somebody in the corner, and he goes hello. And then, like a few minutes later, he goes back around, and he's the guy he said hello to, which is like giving us a little bit of a hint that it's going to be the bootstrap paradox, which I thought was really, really cool. What are your thoughts about the beginning of this episode? How did you feel going into this? Monique, you want to go first?
Oh my God. I feel like the whole thing was good. I don't know. I think that MCU does a really good job of like slow rolling all of the series. And I think they did it very
Hmm.
similarly with like WandaVision. But I was glued to this entire episode. And yeah, I think that they just did an incredible job of just interweaving and making sure that you just got obsessed with just like not being able to like disconnect from the whole episode. So um yeah, it was just the whole thing was really good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Jazz, what about you?
So last week, you remember we were talking and you were saying that you weren't feeling this whole season at all and whatnot, and I was like, hey dude, just wait, it's about to happen.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
delivered. Yeah.
I know.
I feel like it was almost kind of obvious because, like, one of the main characters' name is Mobius, and if you know what a Mobius strip is, like, it's like a rubber band, but where one end becomes the inside the more it spins. So
Right.
yeah, like it's the or a snake eating its tail, like Ouroboros' thing is. So it was kind of obvious to me, but I was like, you know what? Let me just let everybody hang on. It'll be fine. Just wait till episode 5. Everything will work out.
I mean, look, I didn't have doubts. I would just like get there sooner. And like to this episode, to say I still don't care about Zaniac and Doc. Like, what was the point of their whole storyline? I mean, I could have done without it. If you loved it, fine. I'll give you that. But I feel like the pacing of this season could have been better. But I just really, really love that we finally got here. But now that we got here, we just got one more episode left. I'm just like, no, it's not enough. It's not enough. We got some comments here with Michael. Michael says, I think that we need to go on a journey with Loki where he pretended to be motivated by something bigger than his love for his friends. Yeah. I get that. Like, Loki was like trying to say, hey, we need to save the TVA. He wants to save the TVA. But really, homie was just lonely, man. He just wanted to be with his friends. It's the friends we make along the way. That's what the TVA is all about.
Don't you dare.
Oh man. All right. So, let's see. You know what's really funny? Loki is time slipping. Every time he time slip, he does this thing with his hair where he's like, ugh, like this. And then there's this one part where he time slips, and behind him is the waving inflatable time like guy, and he does the wave just like the inflatable tube man, which I thought was so funny. I was literally cracking up at that scene. But Tom Hiddleston does such a good job at being so animated but serious at the same time every time he does the time slip. I'm a big fan of that. So last we saw, this whole thing was blowing up and everything was turning into the spaghetti monster. Everything is going spaghetti. And we see that everybody is gone. Now, what were you guys thinking about what happened? Did you think everyone died? Did you knew they were going to be reset into a timeline? Like, what was going on? Monique, you want to go first?
I felt like they did a really good job of setting up that they were going to be reset into timelines, and I don't know. That's what I felt from the beginning.
Okay. What about you, Jazz?
I first got the hint that it would be Loki time slipping when I don't remember which intro it was. It was in one of the episodes here where you were flying through the timeline, or one of the timelines, and it was all green, right? It was in that moment that I knew that Loki would be the one slipping in and out, and that's what's going to save them.
I like this comment. All inflatable tube men are actually just time slipping the whole time.
Oh my god, it's only one inflatable tube man in the world, and now we just have them in different times?
That's
Yeah.
A lot of sense to me.
There's one down the street from me on South Lamar that I think it's like a mattress place.
That's so funny. What's that Family Guy thing with like crazy waving inflatable tube man? Like, there's like this
God,
Family
that
Guy
bit.
is a clip. That's so funny. That's what it reminds me of.
You know what? I'll
all
play it
right.
at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'll find it. Cue it up. All right. So we see the spaghetti monster start like eating up the entire. That's what I'm calling it. I don't know what else it's called. I just call it the spaghetti monster. The spaghetti monster is eating up the TVA, and right before it destroys the TVA, there is a sign with Miss Minutes, and it says "failsafe in progress." So what is this still like failsafe? I don't know. Is it the fact that everyone got reset in the timeline? Possible. That's what it could be. But we go in and we see Casey. Casey is escaping Alcatraz. Now, they call him Frank, which is a reference to an actual person who escaped Alcatraz, who people don't know what actually happened to him. Did he drown? Did he get away? And it's really
Frank
funny.
Morris, yeah.
Yeah, Frank Morris. And it's really funny because they did the same thing in season 1 with the guy who jumps out of the plane, and Loki with, DB, which I thought was
Cooper.
DB Cooper, which I thought was really funny. And they did it again with Frank. I just loved this whole thing with Frank. I thought it was really, really cool. And he tells Loki he says something about gut him like a fish, which is really funny because that's exactly what Loki said to him. What are your thoughts about our boy Frank?
I don't think I was thrown off by the time or the tie-in, but I really enjoyed that it was something that I didn't expect from him, from Casey. Like I didn't think that he was gonna. He's like a murderer, right? Like the guy,
Yeah.
the criminal, like he's escaping Alcatraz on this boat, and it's like three of them, right? And they were never found.
Yeah, it's true. They
Um,
did it. They did a good job. They showed the paper mache heads and everything, like all the things they actually did to escape. They showed it, which I thought was pretty cool.
yeah.
Jazz, what are your thoughts of the Shawshank and Alcatraz?
Oh, this was just beautifully done. Like, I don't ever expect little Easter eggs like this, but for them to tie it into like actual historical events, and
Mhm.
then people will be like, "Hey, what's that about?" And then everybody starts learning more. I'm like, "Yes, this is the kind of
Yeah.
I
quality content we
totally,
need."
I totally Googled what's it, DB Cooper before, like on the first episode, and I was like, oh, this is like I remember like it being mentioned at some point in my life, and then they mentioned it here, and I thought it was cool.
I
Yeah.
remember DB Cooper because there was a storyline about DB Cooper in the show Prison Break. Like one of the guys in prison was actually DB Cooper, and he had money stashed away, and that was the storyline. But yeah, I love when TV shows make these references, and you have to go and look it up and like educate yourself. And I'm like, oh, okay, well look at me learning. I didn't learn this in school, so I thought that was really cool.
What about
It's
X5? Was his like a reference to like a real person, like a person and because I remember they said that there's one character that asked if he was like having an affair with one of the like some famous actress or something. Was he supposed to be somebody else?
In what, Loki?
yeah,
Yeah,
this was like episode 2 or something when they were first in that theater scene.
yeah.
Um, it was either Loki or was Mobius who asked him, like as a news reporter, "Are you having an affair with whoever?" And it's funny to bring that up because like now I cannot remember it.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I don't remember it either. But that's still funny. I just love the fact that they had Alcatraz, and like we're talking about, looking things up. The first time I learned about Alcatraz was when I watched the movie The Rock, and now whenever I think of Alcatraz, I think of Sean Connery and Nicolas Cage, and my favorite line from that movie is what's the name? Wow, what was that line? It's like losers whine about trying their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. and then Nicolas Cage
Wow.
replies, Carla was the prom queen. And I was like, oh shit, I love that line. It's so good.
Okay, that's a great line. I was about to say, man, where are you going with this? Like,
No, because like Nicolas Cage was the nerd, but then he's like, by the way, I did marry the prom queen, which I thought was dope. It's just
Yeah.
so awesome.
Okay, that's
One,
cool.
it's one of my favorite lines from that movie. So yes, Alcatraz, The Rock, love all these references. Getting gut like a fish, and then Loki appears right in front of a ski-doo shop, not a what you call it. What are they called? Oh my god, I'm brain farting right now.
Jet skis?
Not a jet ski, because jet ski is a name brand. So they're called a personal
The
water
Sea-Doo.
vehicle. And
Yeah.
then his specific one was Sea-Doo. He was selling Sea-Doos.
Yeah.
It was so nice to see.
I didn't know
more-
jet ski was a brand.
No. I remember at the end of season one, I was like, oh, I want to see Mobius in his original timeline and see how he's like riding on the jet ski.
I know. And here's the thing, right? Mobius is in I believe New York 2022, which
Mhm.
is when the blip happened. So the theory is he's a single dad. Maybe his
'Cause
wife
blipped.
his wife got blipped.
I did not catch that. I did not catch
Right? His wife got blipped, bro.
Oh shit.
And that's why he's a single dad trying to take care of his kids, who's being a brat and running away or not picking up his toys and shit.
and almost burning down the house or possibly burning down the house.
Yeah, playing with matches, burning his figures. He's acting out because his mama did.
Aw.
Right?
Poor kid.
And then he's like, yeah, well, since my wife's not coming back, you want to buy this ski-doo from me? So poor Loki. But we
Or
also
Doc or Mobius, whatever his name is. Don.
Don, yeah.
Is that his name? I keep. It's hard for me to think of him as anybody else other than Mobius.
I know
Yeah, I believe his
exactly.
name was Don or something.
Mhm.
I love the fact where he tells him his name is Mobius. He goes, "That does sound pretty cool."
Yeah. What's my name? What's my name? Oh, that's pretty cool. It's my space
Yeah,
name.
I
Space
thought that
name.
what's my space name. Oh man, that's cool. And then the scene where he's in the a store and there's a guy asking about the watercraft, but he really just came for the donut. That was one of the cinematographers on the episodes, which was a little cool cameo. And the two guys who were with Frank escaping Alcatraz were also people who are part of the show. They were directors from previous episodes,
Oh,
which
that's
is
cool.
which is cool. I love that the little cameos that they have. It's really cool. And I love when Loki comes up to him and he goes like, I need your help with the TVA. He goes, you mean ATVs?
Cheers.
I thought that was great. What were your whole what were your feelings about the Loki and Dawn exchange, Monique? Like, what did you think of them?
The Loki and what stage?
The
Loki,
Dawn exchange. The
yeah,
Mobius exchange.
Mobius.
Um, I don't know. I feel like I've been very emotionally invested in their relationship, and this is just another point where I'm like, oh, okay, this is and I think by the time you get to the end of the episode, you start thinking to yourself like, okay, this is a point where that now they're connected and they're stuck in maybe a time loop at some point or now. And no, I feel like it's a great moment in time that really draws together the entire storyline for Mobius and Loki.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
It's
I feel like
interesting
there's
you say that. No, because like as I'm watching this episode, I felt almost that they did throw away a lot of their buildup, like their connection,
Mhm,
their friendship.
mhm.
Like now they're resetting it, and I'm sure in some way it'll eventually come back, right? That's the only thing that makes me think that okay, this is gonna be fine. But if I didn't know that, or I didn't even think that, then yeah, I'm with you. Like they threw a lot of good character development out the window just for this one bit, and
Yeah,
that would be very annoying if it's true.
yeah.
I do agree with you guys that there is a little bit of that element, but I also think that their chemistry remains the same. Like whether it's Dawn or Mobius, they still have
Mm.
that fun chemistry. We got some cool comments here. Someone says his wife is gonna be pissed when she returns from the blip and the jet skis are gone. That is so
I
true.
would be pissed.
I know, and I like this one too. Who would y'all cast as Mobius's wife? Ooh, that's a great question.
Oh.
I'm gonna go with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Let's throw her out there. She hasn't been in anything for a while. Let's throw out Jennifer Love Hewitt and Owen Wilson.
Okay, how old is Owen Wilson?
I don't know.
I think he's like in his 50s, isn't
Gotta
he?
be in his 50s.
He's been around a little while. I think he's a Texan too. Isn't he from Texas?
Could be.
He and his
Could be.
brother, Luke Wilson. Um,
I don't know. What actress?
Hold up, I have so much to look up right now.
I
I think
haven't.
one of them went to the University of Texas, or maybe both of them
Oh
did.
yeah, no. Owen Wilson was born in Dallas. This is completely true.
See,
Monique knows her stuff.
Wow.
I know. I
All
forget
right.
why I know that, but yeah, I don't know who would have won in that role.
I don't know. Who would you want in the MCU? Who have you seen in the MCU that you want to see in the MCU?
Oh, another great question.
Oh, I got it.
No, I saw this thing on the internet saying that MCU is considering casting Taylor Swift for a character. I forget which.
Dazzler. They're
Oh, yeah.
considering her for Dazzler. Yes, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. I have a hard time, and I think this was very true for Eternals. Like, I have a hard time when you have like these mega superstars that are cast. They have like these long careers, and then all of a sudden, like they're in Eternals, and it's like I couldn't watch it. It was really hard to. Yeah, so I don't really want to see Taylor Swift as Dazzler. I'm trying to think of somebody that sort of fits like the mold of like whenever all of these people, Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston and
Yeah.
like they were all cast at some like career. This is like a career making role for them. So
We were just talking about Hilary Duff the other day. I wouldn't mind seeing Hilary Duff in the
Mhm.
MCU,
Oh, she'd be good.
right? She'd be really
But
good.
back to the question about who would I cast as Mobius' wife, Julia Roberts.
Oh, that's not bad.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. She's adorable.
She could do it. She would be
Yeah.
great. All right,
Totally.
cool. All right. We also go to a
Also,
different
wait,
time.
no, real quick.
What?
Real quick. He did it again.
Quake. Yes.
So
Taylor Swift is gonna
you
come
want-
back as Quake. Is that what he's saying?
yeah. The Long Range Joke on this podcast. This guy, he comes on every episode. And he's like, hey, did you hear that Quake is going to be in the Marvels? Or something along the lines of Quake being in the MCU again. And so every time he gets a chance, he will throw in a Quake reference. I don't know who this guy is, but we love him for it.
Oh man, that's funny. All right. Well, speaking of Quakes, there was quite a lot of commotions happening in New York in 2012, which is where we meet the Doctor, who is B15.
Mhm.
I think her name is Verde, in this timeline, and she's a doctor. And I'm like, okay, she sees Loki, so I'm guessing the Battle of New York hasn't happened yet, because the Battle of New York happens in 2012. So either like it hasn't happened yet, or it's already happened, but she didn't recognize Loki, so I'm assuming it hasn't happened yet. What are your thoughts when we meet the Doctor for the first time? Either of you, Monique or Jazz, or your thoughts when we met the Doctor, where she's giving the cast to the little girl, and she's like, "Don't go climbing trees, but that's not gonna stop you," which I thought was pretty interesting.
All right, I'll go first then. Yeah, I felt like this is exactly what B15 was meant to be. Given how much she cares about everyone's life, right? Like how once she found out the truth, she was like, "No, we gotta save everybody. We gotta save all the timelines. We gotta save all the branches." That's what a doctor would do, right? Even all the bad that happens in these branches, right? Doctors don't care. They take the Hippocratic Oath. They will save anybody. It doesn't matter.
Do
if they're
no
good or
harm,
bad.
right? Do no
Right,
harm.
yeah,
That's the-
exactly. So I felt like this was just a perfect choice for her, and it's great seeing
Yeah.
a woman of color in like a high-paying STEM profession. Like you love to see it.
All of
Yeah.
them are just incredible in their roles, right? Renslayer is amazing. She's amazing. God, who else? There were some other ones in like season 1 that were incredible. Obi, God, I mean, the acting in Loki is just so spot on. I felt that they did an incredible job with the casting.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think you're right. I wasn't really thinking about that analogy between the doctors and like how they do that, but no, you're exactly right. Like she really does care about life on the timeline and making sure they don't get branched.
It also makes sense why she was crying when Sylvie gave her back all her memories, because she's thinking about all her patients. She's thinking about the life she had.
Oh no!
Right?
All that trauma.
All that drama, everything's coming back to her, right? So like because of like Sylvie giving her memory back in front of the Walmart or whatever, in the rain, that scene is so much more impactful now.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that from season 1. Because that hurricane in the Walmart. Oh wow.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. But also, let's go back to the one person we haven't talked about yet, and that's Obi. Obi, yo, this man had the scam, bro. He would put his own books on the shelf, and then he would buy his books. And then later, when the bookstore has to like pay royalties, they would have to find and look up who this author is and buy more of his books. What a scam! What a hustler!
But it was all for his dream. He wanted to be a best-selling writer.
Yo, don't knock it. Don't knock it.
I don't knock it, and here's why. Because that's what authors do nowadays. Like, this is
do.
actually not fake. This is totally a real thing people do. Like, there will be publishers, right, who will put, their books on Amazon and then buy like 10,000 copies back. And then it'll look like, oh, it's a bestseller. And then they'll just, put the books everywhere else like normal.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. In fact, like a lot of people, not even publishers, but people who self-publish, they'll take out a loan for like $10,000 and buy all their books so that they can say they're a number one seller, and then they'll like sell their books on their websites, and they'll sell their books on like Amazon and stuff like that. But they'll actually take out a loan and buy all their books so that they could be a number one seller.
Man, I hate
It's,
that this is a real thing that we all know about it.
it's hard out here for a Zoltron or whatever. Also, his name is A.D. Douglas, which is a reference to Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and we see the number
Yeah.
42 in a few episodes ago, which I thought was pretty funny. So we love that. But yeah, he puts his own book on the shelf, and then when he goes back into his lab or something, which is in Caltech, I believe. It is shaped oddly enough like his little laboratory in the TVA, which I thought was pretty cool.
Mhm.
So, what are your thoughts about this real timeline OB? How did you feel about him?
He's by far my favorite character, other than Loki, obviously. Right? I'm very invested in Loki and his whole character arc and all the things that he's been through and how he has evolved over the course of the MCU and just seeing how he's he's confronted his trauma. He is recognizing himself as a person and is letting himself be emotional and vulnerable, right? But yeah, Obi, I think is just because I feel like he's very self-aware. Right? Like he
Yeah,
knows that these things are actually possible, and so like he always approaches everything as, huh, what did he say? He said something like when in that scene, um, that's it, or he always says it so matter of factly, like that seems very rational, or I'm having hard reconciling that. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, he's so such a great character.
I love the fact when he meets Loki and Loki tries to explain, like, this is, you're not going to believe this, but this is what happened. He goes, I believe it.
Yeah,
It's just like,
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
I get it. And then he tries to explain to, and then him and Loki start talking and they try to come up with a plan. He's like, by the way, if I could find one of my books, I'll give it to you. And they're like everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I think is really funny.
So what do you guys
Um,
think about science fiction? Or science is about the who and the when, and what is it? What does he say? I thought that was pretty profound, and I feel like I want to attach myself to that because I feel like it means something more profound throughout the series.
yeah,
Science is what and how, and fiction is why.
in fiction
Mhm,
is why. And then
mhm,
at the very end, Loki is like, it's not about any of them. It's about who, which I thought it was pretty
mhm.
cool. A lot of time
Okay,
travel
yeah.
Doctor Who vibes in here, if you're a Doctor Who fan.
Another cliche love trope. Okay, fine.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So he tells everybody that, hey, the way to fix this, and is to find all the people with this temporal aura. So Loki has to go on a mission and find all of these people again, right? And then he's like, I would have to create a tempad. And you seem like you have the power of a tempad, so why don't you go ahead and try to figure this out? And like Loki is doing all these maneuvers and all these like things, trying to figure out how to control his power, and he can't. And then Obi's like, "Well, I just don't have the knowledge to do it." And then um,
He has the
Loki
book. He has the book.
has the book. He has the book. And someone just said it right here. I said it before and I'll say it again. The TVA manual is the MVP of the show. Yes, Parmesan man. We agree. Love that scene. And basically, Loki goes and finds Mobius, talks to him. And then while that's happening, he's already invented a tempad already. And he goes, you did it already? And it actually took him a couple of months, but we don't get to see that.
Took him
Which,
17
19
months.
months.
No, 17 months, although it was 18 months because he had to
yeah.
take a month off because his wife left him. I think that was
Oh, is that what it was?
Damn, his wife left him, the sacrifices
yeah,
this
yeah.
man made, the
Wife left him.
sacrifices he made.
Yeah.
Oh,
And actually, I wanted to add to the thing about fixing it. One of the things that I loved there whenever they were talking about like how to fix it was how Obi was talking to Loki about how like to control it. And he says essentially like you need to find your why. And I always like think about like the political references, right? Because I'm constantly telling people, if you're gonna run for office, then you need to figure out your why. And I think that it was such a great moment like whenever he told him that, because it's like, I think that it's so important for everybody whenever they're trying to find their purpose in the world. It's like, why do you exist in life, and like, what are you supposed to be
Mm.
doing with your life? So, oh, so good.
Very
So
true.
good.
Very true.
Yo, I love
And
this comment right here.
go ahead.
Headcanon. His wife was some this was everything
Oh,
all at once.
that, that was so funny. But wait, that can't be. Isn't she Shang-Chi's mom?
Shh, 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 shh,
all
shh, shh.
right, fine,
All right,
fine.
we're in like 50 timelines here. It's fine. And she
Oh
aunt. She was
yeah.
Shang-Chi's aunt.
Yeah, Shang-Chi's aunt. You're right. Shang-Chi's
Right.
aunt. Oh man, but yes, love that.
Also,
We
Russie,
Oh,
apparently,
what's
y'all
up,
know
Rosie?
each other.
yeah, we're in Truman together.
What a small world.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. That's fun.
I think we're on the Signal chat too together. Oh, it's True Nerds.
True nerds.
Yeah, we have lots of great conversations there, or I get to watch everybody and their theories too. So
That's funny. That's funny. All right, cool. So Mobius and Loki now. They're together. He explains to everything to Mobius. Mobius is like, "All right, I'm in." And then he kind of like tells him, "Hey, your kids are in danger too. We gotta fix this thing." He's like, "All right, let's get the band back together. By the way, I had a dope name, so let's let's do that." All right. So he gets him. Then they go and they get Casey. Casey's like a bank robber. He's trying to steal the temp pad to break into banks. And I love the fact that Loki's like, you can steal the banks afterwards. I don't give a shit. Loki does not care. He's a villain. He's like, I'm not going to stop you. You can do it. We don't care. We just got to save the world first. And you
I
also
just
see.
love that. He's not a
Yeah.
hero. Like, I'm glad they did that.
Right? And then also he's like pickpocketing like these little like trinkets from Obi's office, which is really interesting because in the season 1 he is actually stealing like infinity stones and stuff and putting them in his desk, and he's just like having these little trinkets and stuff. He's a little bit of a kleptomaniac, which is probably what got him into jail. But we also know that Frank Morris actually had a 133 IQ and he was really, really smart. So that would explain why he can understand the TVA guidebook and understand everything that's happening, because he is supposed to be smart if he is this person who escaped from Alcatraz, which I thought was really cool.
do you think he's gonna like make something? Because
Yes.
like Rocket makes stuff, right? Like he steals stuff and then he like
Yes.
makes something. So I feel like that's the build up, right? He's like stealing things to probably make something to
Totally.
Ooh, that would be really cool. You know who else did that? Spider-Punk. He in Across the Spider-Verse. He's always stealing some stuff, and he made a little wristwatch for Spider-Gwen at the very end. So yeah, Rocket does that. He does that. So yeah, it's very, very.
I believe
cool.
that totally. Like, there's no reason for them to be, hey, I'm going to distinctly show this one scene of you grabbing something, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was so obvious. It wasn't like, he just did it in the background. If he did do it in the
Yeah.
background, I would be like, maybe. But no, this is a little too intentional. So I definitely think he's building something.
Yeah. I love the fact that like they couldn't find the temp pad, and he's like, I would if I had it, and he had no idea where the temp pad was. But yes, I like me some Frank, aka Casey, aka Mr. I'll gut you like a fish. Big fan. Now we go to the McDonald's, and now he's like, okay, Sylvie, you're not gonna believe this. And you go like, I know who you are, Loki. I was there when the loom exploded. And he's like, wait, what? This is not how I was expecting this to happen. And then she just takes him for a drink because he starts time spasming, and she tells him, hey, maybe these people are better off. Tell me why you really want to do this. And he's telling you, like, we have to see the TVA, we have to do this. And then at the very end, she gets it out of him, and he's just lonely, and he just wants his friends. And like, look at Loki finally finding like he belongs someplace. Even genocidal maniacs can have a little bit of like sympathy here.
he went through trauma, and I think they even talked about it, right? Like in that scene where he was like, flippantly talking about how he was angry at Odin and he was angry at Thor, and that so he went down to Earth and he subjugated an entire society. And so Loki is now coming to terms with all of his trauma, and he's handling it in a more productive, healthy way.
Absolutely. And I love the way that you brought up that like he tried to subjugate a bunch of people, because now he's making a point how important choice is for people. He's like, don't they deserve a choice? Mobius rather have been in the TVA than in this timeline. He should have that choice. So he went from subjugating people and taking away their choice to going, hey, taking away people's choice is wrong. Huge character development growth. Like, I more than from all of the Avengers all the way up to Ragnarok we
Yeah.
see in this like 2 seasons. I thought that was great. This is some of the best character development of any
Yeah.
character. To the point where I'm like, to the point where I would see Tom Hiddleston can carry the MCU at this point. Like, we saw RDJ carry it. I think the only person that can carry it now is Loki.
Yeah. It is.
Real quick.
That comment, it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking, because you always see him throughout the MCU struggling with like these very big moral issues, right? And you just really want him to just do better and be better. And finally we're like seeing him be vulnerable and attach himself to people. And yeah, it's just lovely.
It's so lovely. I
And
like
this was
this.
the quote that
Yeah.
MTF put in the comments that Monique was referring to. It's like, they're where they belong, but without my friends, where do I belong? I was like,
Oh, poor Loki.
I don't want to be alone.
Oh man, I just want him to have his friends. He wants his friends back. It's so sad. Oh
He
man.
also says like, "Who am I without them?" Some iteration.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Right. And the thing is, like, he went from "Who am I without my friends" to "I am a god, you peasants," right? Like, he tells that to the Hulk. He goes, "You insufferous creature, I am a god," to being "Who am I without my friends?" Like, huge character development. Oh man, we love us some Loki.
Loki's great. He's definitely, yeah, like I said, he's definitely my favorite character.
Yeah, yeah, he's very, very good. We got some more comments here. I wonder if we'll see Thor in the last episode. Loki's executive producer wants a Thor reunion, and the Thor socials have been quite active lately. I don't want that, just because, like, I feel like I don't want it to take away from Loki. I would love it if they meet up in like Secret Wars, or like back when Kang is causing some serious trouble. But I want Loki to be, you know, finish this off himself a little bit. I don't need the assistance, but like this is the episode that really got me invested in the other timelines. Because after him and Sylvia have this conversation, he comes back and he goes, "Guys, it's over. Just go back to your timelines. Go back to your lives. Like, there's no point to this." And then
Maybe we'll see like Thor as a frog or something, or so some variant of Thor.
yeah, I wouldn't mind a variant of Thor.
It's like a little cameo, right? Because we saw the Thanos helicopter. They throw in like the little things, so maybe we'll see that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. But we see Philly go into this record store, and she pops in some music, and they show some amazing cinematography in this scene.
That shot
of
Sylvie from like looking
from the above. So that shot was actually taken from Miss Marvel. So there's a Miss Marvel shot where she does that, and they show us behind the scenes, and they kind of just like reinvented that shot, which I thought was really, really cool. But what I love is like the spaghetti monster comes back and starts grabbing everybody, and you see this guy, the store owner, runs for Sylvie and turns into the spaghetti monster before. And Sylvie gets her time pad and goes there and goes, "Hey guys, we got to do this." And I'm like, okay, cool. The team's back together. Everything's going to work out. Everything's going to be fine and dandy.
I did.
And then all of a sudden the spaghetti monster is back there, and all the people start dying. And I'm just like, no, what's going on here? At this point, I didn't know what's going on. I didn't know what to expect. I was like, they got me. Like, usually you can see something coming. I didn't see this coming, and it was all over the place. What were your thoughts while this was happening, Monique?
I was actually wondering whether it was a tie-in to something from, because what is it? Is it Brock? What is the name of the town that she's in? Like that's a reference to the actual comics, isn't it?
Broxton.
Yeah, Broxton, Oklahoma. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I should have looked it up on the internet or something, just gone down the rabbit hole of theories. But I thought that maybe that was going to start some sort of tie-in. But um, yeah, I don't know. I was sad.
Yeah. Like you see all these other timelines being attacked by the spaghetti monster.
Mhm.
And this is the first time I actually feel bad for the other timelines. Like we see branches die on the screen all the time
Mm.
and we didn't care. Like we're not like
Now we're actually
invested.
seeing
But
it.
now that we see like Mobius, Dawn had a life, the doctor, she had a
Dr.
life,
Willis.
right? And then like, AD Douglas has a wife who's left him. They all had these lives there, right? And now when the worlds were being destroyed and the timelines were being spaghettified, you actually feel bad for these people and these worlds. And it's the first time like I actually feel like something's at stake. And this is what I feel like the MCU has been missing for the entire phase 4 and phase 5. The stakes weren't there, and now I'm feeling like they finally are. Now I'm like, whoa, this is a big deal. We need to save all these timelines from the incursions and the spaghetti monster and all this stuff that's happening.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you guys, but this episode didn't just get me excited for the season. It got me excited for the MCU in general again, because I
Mhm.
feel like I haven't been this excited for the MCU in a long time. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts?
Wasn't there a reason for that though? Like what weren't I read something about like they were not using showrunners or whatever. Did y'all see that or read that article? I think I saw that on the internet, but I didn't actually read the article. Like for several of the, I think it was like for Secret Invasion. I think it was in when is in it. I've not been able to get into that one. But they had said something about how they did not use showrunners for like Secret Invasion and some of the other ones that were not so great. So I don't know. Yeah.
It would make sense because Secret Invasion is terrible. So if you did not watch it, don't worry about it. It was probably the
Oh my
worst
God.
reviewed.
It was
For
so
Wow.
real.
hard. It was like, what is happening here? Coulson?
It
Okay, whatever. He's
Yeah, it was pretty terrible. There's nothing good I can say about it. But there is this thing where they're just like didn't feel super connected, and Loki is the first show that I feel like is making us feel like, whoa, this is connected. Something's happening here. We're
Mhm.
excited, and now we're like, we're gonna see Kang in the next episode, I believe, or Victor Timely, or whoever he who remains, whoever he's going to be.
Or
Um,
somehow everybody always keeps bringing up like Mephisto somehow. Like he's gonna somehow end up in one of these episodes. I know that
I
that's
so
obvious.
Mephisto has been announced for the show Ironheart,
Mm,
which isn't super popular, but the fact that Mephisto was supposed to be this like badass villain, and now he's gonna show up in a show called Ironheart, I don't think he's going to be as strong. I could
mm,
be wrong though. I would love to be wrong. Like Ironheart, I think is going to be a good show. I'm pretty
mm,
excited for it. But I would see Ironheart with a low stake villain, and I would hate for Mephisto to be a low stake villain. He
mm,
should be up there with like, I don't know, like Kang, and to be fighting Riri Williams,
mm.
uh, feels like it makes me worried that they're not going to give him his full like power.
Uh,
But we'll
they
see.
tend
We
to
don't
do
know.
that, right? Like they did that with Thanos. I feel like they did that with Cable. Where they just like
They def.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Not a lot of thought around it. Who I guess like similar to the Mobius question, or like who you'd want to be his wife. Who should play Mephisto? I can't think of anyone.
Ooh, that's tough.
Who would we play Mephisto?
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
Neebs.
He would make such a great Mephisto.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I have no thoughts. I have no thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, I'll one up you in stupidity there. Sacha Baron Cohen.
Ah, Borat is nice.
But real quick, let's go to the comments. Yes, until the WGA strike,
Yeah.
Marvel Studios didn't use showrunners. That's true. Um, The mighty Throg, referencing
Yeah,
to Thor as a
see?
frog.
Yeah, Thor Frog.
MCF does agree he just wants to see Loki link up back with Thor until Secret Wars. And okay, we have confirmed. Hood is going to be the main villain. The rumor is Sacha Baron Cohen. What?
No, is it? Let me Google. Let me see this.
I thought that was a troll post. I didn't think that was real.
That's so funny. Did you just wish it into existence, Jazz?
Wait,
I should have said something else. I should have just said, I'm going to be a billionaire today. Like, of all the things I could have said.
It
That's
totally comes
so
up
funny.
in Google searches. Oh, how funny.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
I remember that rumor being like 3 months ago. I didn't think they were serious. Like,
Oh, I didn't know you just made that.
I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
I think he's great. I think he's got range. He could probably do it.
I think he's got range too. What he's been, I mean, it's not like he's going to be Ali G in in the show. Respect mine. No, it's gonna be cool. I think he could do it. I think he could do it. We'll see.
and here's the last comment I'm going to read out. The possibilities are endless.
Possibilities, spaghetti monster. Oh man,
I love the comments. Thank you all for joining us in the comments. All of you listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whoever, please join us on the live streams. This is always a lot of fun.
I know. We were a little late today. Usually we're at 10:30, but I was in DC today at the rally, so it took me a little bit longer to get here. But usually 10:30 on Sundays, Saturdays, and Fridays this week. Even though our intro says different, for some reason they changed Loki to Thursdays. They used to be on Tuesdays, so
Yeah.
we'll
fix it one day.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it. I mean, like by the time you fix it, they're gonna go back to the other timeline. So
Also true.
whatever. All right, but listen, I'm invested in the MCU again, which is ironic because they just came out an article saying the MCU is in shambles, saying like it's terrible and they don't know what they're doing and they're going to get rid of Kang and all of this stuff. But like I don't think the MCU is in as much trouble as people think it is.
How
I
are they
think
supposed to do that? How are they supposed to get rid of Kang? I don't know.
I don't know, unless like Loki becomes the new Kang because he does have these powers now.
See that, yeah. And actually, when I was reading that theory, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. That makes sense.
Loki can time hop and not only into different, whatchamacallit, like time, in different times, but also in different timelines, right? So different universe,
different spaces, yeah.
Right? He can do it all. He is as powerful as Kang, which is wild. I don't know. Like he's the only one that I feel like could destroy Kang at this moment until we see what the Fantastic Four comes with and everyone else. I don't know. I'm excited. OB could also be a Kang. Who knows? Because OB and Kang are basically two peas in a pod. Because one wrote the TVA, the other inspired the TVA, but he was inspired by the person who wrote the TVA. Like it's just going in circles. So
what's going to happen to Sylvie? I mean, is she going to roll the TVA with Loki, or what do y'all think?
I'm not gonna lie, and people may hate me for this, but like I don't feel like Sylvie is bringing a lot to this season, where I felt like she brought a lot to the first season. Like for the first season, she was the most captivating character, and you didn't know what she was gonna do, and you were following her stories, and you couldn't wait to understand what her like background and story was, and what her nexus event was, and all that stuff. In this one, she's kind of just there to help Loki's character development and not do much else. Like, what about her character development? She hasn't been growing. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I could be wrong.
Maybe it's on purpose though, because she's not very self-aware, right? She's very selfish. She's proven herself to be very selfish. She just wants to live in her own little world and like without any care of anything else. And I don't know, maybe it feels like it's on purpose.
It could be. It could be on purpose.
I feel like if there was supposed to be a season 3, it would be focused on Sylvie. And this is just a season to help tie in other parts of the MCU timeline. So I feel like this is like one of those, it had to get done now, not later. And then we can really see the development of Sylvie later on. But then we also know that there is a finality in some way for season 2 and Loki in general. So I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode, but it'd be cool if they had a third season or a Sylvie specific show later on, which, they can do, and they've done that in the past.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that there was somebody online like saying that she would become Enchantress. Was one.
Yeah, I mean, she technically already is Enchantress. She's kind of like a combination of like Enchantress and another character. But yeah, I get what you mean. She could become like full Enchantress and go into
Mhm.
full mode. That would be cool. But I
The
feel
color scheme
like
would match up.
yeah, I feel like the two Loki shows are probably the most like Marvel content that's pushing the story forward.
Mm.
The other one is Quantum Mania, but Quantum Mania people did not love Quantum Mania. I think people were a little let down by Kang. He was supposed to be the Thanos, and he got defeated in by ants. Like and people and the people were a little sour about that. But like obviously he wasn't defeated. Obviously he's gonna come back, and we know it. And even Paul Rudd at the end, he's like, "Did I defeat Thanos? I don't know. We'll worry about it later. Here's some cake," right? So I do feel like Kang is a great villain, and he's probably going to be someone Marvel's going to keep. I think the rumors that they're trying to figure out how to get rid of Kang may not be true, especially after people's reactions from this season of Loki. Because if we get an amazing version of Kang or He Who Remains or Victor Timely in the next episode, it might get people hyped again. So I'm pretty
But
excited.
Yeah,
you know how that is a problem. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, Monique.
yeah. Victor Timely, I thought he was incredible in that piece. I mean, it
Yeah.
was like a completely different person, right? And the other thing that I really liked about Victor Timely is that very similar to Loki, like I felt like I was on edge thinking, is he going to turn back into a villain, right? When he was playing Victor Timely, because
Yeah.
he said, something about like, I can make my own choices or something. And it's like, does that mean that that you're going to be bad and that you're going to start making bad decisions? Um, I don't know how they kept me on my toes with him, but I thought that was great.
Yeah, yeah. And like if they have to, I think they should keep Kang and just recast if
Yeah,
that
pull a
needs to
Terrence
be the
Howard.
issue.
Yeah. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, they did it with Terrence Howard. Although it was like they just did that one movie, right? With they just did Iron Man with Terrence Howard, and then they replaced him. Like this is
Yeah.
several things in now, but
I mean also the Hulk, right? They replaced the Hulk with Edward Norton.
yeah, fair enough.
They could do it. It doesn't matter.
Marvel
Uh
going back to the roots, replacing actors. Like, yes, I'm here
I
for
don't
it.
know.
It's really unfortunate, that they're in that situation. But man, I will say I feel like he did an incredible job with Kang.
Yeah. No, he did. So I don't know. We'll see. And there's some other Marvel news that there's something to get excited about. The Echo trailer came out. I don't know if you have seen that, but that looks so good. It does look like a gritty version of Daredevil, and it's just scenes of the Kingpin and Echo and her origins. It looks super cool. It looks super
There was
cool,
a
and
lot of blood.
there was a lot of
I
blood,
was just
and
thinking that I of all of the series, I could not get, even though it was great, I could not get through all of the seasons or all of the episodes of Daredevil because it's so bloody.
it is very bloody. It is very violent, and it's incredible. I'm a big fan of the Daredevil. I really like it, and I love
Yo,
Kingpin too, where he's like, "When I was a young boy," like I love his story when he does that.
did y'all see that little half-second clip of Daredevil in the Echo trailer?
No.
He was in there for like a split second, and
I
most
love
people
the
missed it.
Daredevil cameos.
Oh my
Hmm.
god. I gotta go back and rewatch. I did not see that.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. All right, and
Oh, that
also,
one that they did in Spider-Man was brilliant.
oh yeah, that was great. That was great. I'm just a really good lawyer. Love that line. And also the Marvels is coming out next week, and I got an early screening, so I get to watch it on Tuesday. So
Nice.
I will be hopefully uh be able to kind of fill you guys in on how I feel about that movie. So I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I canceled my trip. I was supposed to be up there with you in New York to see it, but
I know, but there's no previews and stuff like that. The screener I got isn't a red carpet screener; it's just a regular screener. So unfortunately, not worth coming up here for.
yeah, boo.
I know, and it's because of the strike. I think like the issue is like they didn't want to have actors there and do the red carpet and all that stuff because there's no actors there. They can't be there. So that sucks. That's terrible.
Pay your
But
people, studios. Pay
I
them.
know, I know, I know.
Ugh.
Who knows, man? The strike could end this week, though. We don't know. Come Monday, the strike's over, and they can start ramping up promotions for the Marvels again. It doesn't look like it's going to do super well, but it is going to. The promos and the commercials that have started going out has improved it. They said they was only going to make 40 millions. Now they're saying it's only going to make 80 million. Which is not a lot, but it's still better. I checked my theaters and they're still pretty half empty, which is not a good look. But hopefully the movie is really good. It gets good word of mouth. It looks a lot of fun. The trailers look amazing. I really, really like it. But that movie's gonna have haters regardless because people just don't want to see a movie with a
I
female
had a
lead.
hard time attaching myself to Carol Danvers. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
I think like they shoehorned her character in between Avengers Infinity Wars and Avengers Endgame, and it was kind of rushed, and they didn't really do a full out of her character because they wanted her to show up in Endgame and beat up a bunch of people and crap. But I don't know.
yeah.
But
I mean, that was a great scene whenever she.
yeah,
Oh,
Ship.
absolutely.
love that scene. But I think our girl Kamala Khan is going to steal this movie. I think she's going to be great, and also Photon. I think her relationship with Carol is going to be a central point of this. I don't know. It looks like a fun movie. It looks like a good movie. It will have haters, but we won't be one of them.
Photon was another one they didn't do a good job of developing during WandaVision, right? Like I thought that her storyline there was a little forced. I mean, there's like some stuff that made sense, I guess, for the series, but I felt like she could have not been in it. I don't know.
I mean, she was the main person who got Wanda to stop, right? And they had to explain where she gets her powers from if they were gonna. So it was more like an origin story for her. I could see it not being like connected to Wanda as much as it is setting up a brand new character for another show. I feel like they do that every now and then, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited for the Marvels. I'm excited for Echo, and I'm excited for the ending of Loki. Well, what about you guys?
I'm sad for the ending of Loki.
I get that.
It could go on forever. It's so good. Everything,
Yeah.
the writing, the visuals, it's great.
I love the music. Natalie Holt just like, damn, she's on her shit. It's so good.
Yeah, and even like I think it was the second episode of the first season where it's like we still haven't seen Sylvie, but they play what is it, that 80s song, I Need a Hero.
Yeah.
Hey, I was like, this is a great scene. I love this scene.
I love that scene too. Also, you know what I just realized? We got to see OB in his original timeline, and the way all the computers look and way his like office look, he modeled the entire TVA off of that. Like all the computers look like they're from his era. All of the signs and stuff like that. Like he basically built the TVA. They're all based on him and his time.
He's so
Makes
brilliant.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kiwi Kwan was just fantastic, and it makes sense though, man. Like if you don't know like different operating systems and different timelines, go with what you know. So I respect it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, cool. Any last thoughts before we sign off? Anything we didn't go over?
Ooh, there was one comment I want to go back to. Let me see if I can find it.
Also, I noticed that when Sylvie and Loki got into the car, Zaniac was playing on the Audible.
Yeah. our favorite person in the comments, Parmesan Man, is asking, I wonder what Sylvie's version of Thor looks like.
Oh my god, a blonde female Thor? Who would that look like?
I feel like we already have one. Jane Foster, but okay.
Jane Foster's not blonde. She's a brunette.
Yeah, but like you just
Dirty
make her.
blonde, right?
Oh, that's true. She is a female Thor. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
But
just problem solved.
Oh, that is true. Sylvie and Jane. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yo, they'd have some fun chemistry too.
They would have some fun chemistry. Yeah,
Mm,
if Jane wasn't dead.
of
Is
course.
she though? Nobody's ever really dead. I think that's what we figured out so far in the MCU.
Yeah, that's true.
dead.
No one's really dead, especially with timelines and stuff like that, for sure. I can see that. Maybe a little expensive to get Natalie Portman to come back for a cameo, but you never know. If anyone can do it, Marvel can.
Mhm.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. This was a fun podcast. We love talking about this episode of Loki. I have to eat my words a little bit because I think this season has completely turned around. I still hold my opinion that the whole Docs and Zaniac thing was a waste, but everything else, I'm digging it. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see next episode. I don't have any predictions, but I don't know. Do you guys have any predictions?
I have nothing.
I have nothing and I don't want nothing. I want to go into it like, head empty, no thoughts. That's what I want to do.
I think
Monique?
I think it makes sense that Loki is going to take over.
The TVA, he's going to be the new TVA.
He's going to be the new king.
It makes too
Could
much
be.
sense.
Mhm.
It
I know
could
it
be.
makes too much sense, and I kind of want it to happen, even though it'd be nice to have a surprise. But I
Yeah.
want that for him, right? He's
You want to give him the purpose so he's happy forever. Yeah, I
This
get
is a
that.
glorious purpose, and
Mhm.
this is his glorious purpose. And but because I think that he would not be like a nefarious ruler, right? He's going to be like a great person that's going to do good things and save lives, and I don't know.
Really? Are we thinking about the same Loki?
He's
Hey, man.
changed. He's totally different. He cares
True.
about people now.
He does care about people now. He does. But I don't know. Absolute power does corrupt absolutely. So would he go back to being bad Loki if he got all that power?
I don't think so because he's emotionally attached to people now.
Mm,
He's already a
Right.
god. If he wanted to be corrupted or do bad things, he could do it now.
Mhm.
yeah, that is true. That is
Especially
true.
with the TVA going away, nothing's holding him back because he was, technically he was a prisoner for a while.
Mhm.
Now he's not even a prisoner. Like he could really go back to being bad if he really wanted to, and he hasn't.
That is true. He even has magic in the TVA.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Here
He's,
we
That
are.
is true.
yeah, he's very close to his glorious purpose. Very
Yes.
exciting.
Oh,
Love that for
man.
Loki. Love it.
But the thing is, he's eventually gonna have to die, and I feel like I'm gonna be really sad that he's died so many times. But if he has to die one more time, I'm gonna be so
I
sad.
want to see him. I'll cry. I'm definitely gonna cry. If
I
he
mean, Tom Hiddleston's got to retire from the character at one point. Like RDJ has, whatchamacallit, Chris Evans has, Scarlett Johansson has. Like it's only inevitable that Tom Hiddleston is gonna retire this character.
Mhm.
So he may have to die for real eventually.
I mean, Black Widow could technically come back, right? Because we saw that with what's her face? The one. Why is her my brain?
I see her face. I know who exactly you're talking about. Her younger sister, and that
Yeah,
one scene
the
at the very
green-
end.
Oh,
Yeah.
Florence Pugh.
No, the one in Guardians of the Galaxy, the green one, because she was killed by Thanos, and then
Gamora.
she came back. Yeah,
Oh,
Gamora.
Gamora, Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, so technically Scarlett Johansson or Black Widow could come back.
They could be in the Soul Stone. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
I
All
don't
right,
wanna-
guys.
Yeah.
That's all the theories we have. Monique, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if you want to, but would you like people to find you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm the executive director of the Texas Democratic Party, so I'm around.
All right.
Mm.
Awesome. Where can they find you? Like TikTok, Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter mostly. What is my handle? It's MA, my middle initial, and then my last name, ALCALA.
All right, very cool. So go check out Monique, and until next time, guys, Salaam nerds.
Peace.
Bye.